The following game has no ESRB rating posted on their Steam page, nor is there a listing as to what restrictive content may be seen in the game. However, if you look at one of their cinematics on their Steam page, you see the logo for the ESRB, and it appears to have a E10 plus rating from the ESRB. That means that the content in the game is only appropriate for anyone aged 10 and up. So therefore, if you are under the age of 10, you should not be watching this video. You have been warned. Greetings and salutations. I am Outlier, and I bid you welcome to this channel. Joining me today is, of course, my usual co-hosts, Snowball and Wolf. And today we're returning back to Slime Rancher. No, you have that in reverse. We're not sliming ranches, we're ranching slimes. Yes, there's a difference. One, you cause damage to somebody's animal farm, and the other, you have a farm full of blobs. So the premise of Slime Rancher is rather simple-ish. You basically poach the local wildlife, shove them all into pens, feed them, and collect their poop, which you then sell for profit, which you then spend on new equipment and other items from your corporate overlords to gather more slimes, to throw them into even more pens, to feed them even more food, to have them to gather up even more poop, which you then sell back to your corporate overlords for yet more profit. There's a storyline in there somewhere, I think. Maybe. Probably not. Kinda sorta ish. That's the basic gameplay loop. You do other things. You occasionally solve puzzles to unlock new areas. Do some light exploring. Whenever you get a new piece of equipment, you're able to travel to a new location and find even more rarer, more interesting slimes. And then you just basically go back and modify your farm with all these neat little toys and other gadgets you can spend your hard-earned corporate-backed currency on. I enjoy it. I find it fun. That's why I keep playing it. That's why I keep playing all the games that I keep playing. Really, that's the whole point of a game. But I digress. This game is, of course, made by... Thank you again. That being said, let us begin. Okay, so this is the ranch. I forgot to mention, we are not on the planet Earth. We are on a planet called the Far Far Range. I don't think that's the moon, the planet's moon. I think the planet is the moon orbiting that planet. And it is now nighttime. That's an interesting, I'm going to call that an aurora. But on Far Far Range is where all the slimes live, and anything not dirt, or, you know, anything built on the dirt, like buildings, is basically made out of slimes. So since it's nighttime, we are going to go take a nap. Oh, this is us. B. Beatrix. I'm trying to check the mail to see if I can find the name, but I suddenly remembered it's her full name is Beatrix LaBeouf or LaBeaux or something. She goes by Bree, I believe, or B. Anyway, we're gonna sleep till morning, and we return to ranch. And I was going to say daylight, but it's more dawn. Anyway, so this is the ranch, at least the ranch proper. These are the slimes. Pink slimes are the most common, and they're constantly trying to get out. And then we have what I like to call, well, what the game calls largos. So basically, any slime that you feed something produces the plort, which is their poop. These little diamondy, 8-sided thingies that you see. And every slime produces one kind of plort. And if you feed a slime its favorite food, it produces twice as many plorts as normal. How you get a largo is when you feed a slime a plort not its own. So, like, for instance, these rock tabby largos either started as rock slimes or tabby slimes. But I fed the rock slimes a tabby plort, or the tabby slimes a rock plort, and that's how they became rock tabby largos. I find it's easier to keep and maintain a smaller group of largos as opposed to larger groups of individual slimes. I usually pair them based off of the terrain that I find them. So, for instance, rock and tabby slimes are some of the first slimes that you find in addition to pink slimes. So I usually pair them together. We also have some of the most dangerous slime combinations over here. Not some of, it's one of the worst. And that is the boom rad slime. So basically it's a combination of a boom slime and a rad slime. And since they're found generally in the same area, I usually combine them together. And I should probably feed them. I think this is the favorite. I think. I'm not 100% certain about that. Where is their feeding bin? Veggies, oka, and then the boom slime well, the rad slime eats veggies. Its favorite food is the oka. The boom slime eats meat, and its favorite food is the briar hen. That's another thing. When it becomes a largo, it shares its favorite food and diet with whatever its two parent slimes are. So, for instance, as I just said, the boom slimes eat meat, whereas the rad slimes eat veggies. But the boom rad largos can eat either meat or veggies, so you don't have to keep nearly as many different types of food on hand. Make certain everybody gets fed their favorite food. Some of them are hungry, so just fill their bin. Probably should keep filling. In addition to the various slimes that you can keep on your ranch, you can also have your plots built to other things. So that one's a garden plot, as is that one, and technically that one, I believe. This one, however, keeps chickens. And then this is another one. I need the pogo fruit for anyone. They like Q-berries. They like heartbeats. I guess there's no way one that's favorite food is pogo fruit. So the pink slimes get fed, and I don't think I have an auto feeder for this pen yet. So we're just gonna dump them all in here because I just simply have a massive pile of pogo fruit just sitting under the tree. So if you didn't catch last episode, and it's been a while, I know, this particular game isn't part of the main rotation, so I don't play it as often as some of the others. At least I don't make videos of it as often as some of the others. But I digress. So basically we unlocked 2 extra expansions to the farm. The one being this cave area known as the grotto. And I'm currently keeping phosphor crystal larvos in here, mostly because the phosphor slimes, the ones that up and fly, explode in the, well, not explode, but they do die in direct sunlight, so it's better that I keep them in here, and they do have an air net, so that way they can't escape. They'll slam into the roof enough, and they'll eventually just get out anyway. But the crystal slimes didn't really have anything in their environment to pair to that it didn't already have, so I paired them with the phosphor slimes, which also didn't have any extra one to pair to. Heartbeats are for the rock tabbies. Gather as much of these as I can. And these cube berries are liked by the phosphor slime, so I believe I'm feeding them to the crystal. The largos I keep in the grotto, if I can remember to turn in the right direction. I think. What's in the food bin here? Right now, nothing. Okay, so we're just going to dump that in there. The reason why I'm going with cube berries as opposed to odd onions, which is the crystal slime's favorite, I know because I just checked, is because when you plant odd onions down, unlike other crops, they just don't spawn all of that one crop. You get a few odd onions, and then it's mostly carrots. Though I do have currently more odd onions than I do cube berries, so take the cube berries out and put in the odd onions. Just fire the cube berries into the pen directly. Carrots also just feed to the pink slimes. Basically, any food I don't really need for a specific slime goes to the pinks, because they'll eat pretty much anything and everything. Alright, well, I was going to say that takes care of everything in the grotto and then move on to the other expansion, but we just got new star mail from Casey. So, star mail is intergalactic email, for, I guess, lack of a better term. Alright, so Casey's our friend back on Earth, and apparently her nickname is B. So her latest letter is the Death Hike from Casey. Hi B, do you remember when you took me hiking? I still didn't know how serious you were about the whole outdoors thing then, and your idea of a hike just about killed me. I showed up in normal clothes and shoes, and you were decked out and had a packing gear, and it was a nightmare for me, haha. I think it was around the 5-mile mark, when I was drenched in sweat and ready to collapse, that I realized our ideas of fun were two very different things. Also, you weren't even out of breath then, and I still totally hate you for that. Little colon and then in parentheses there. Yes, I know what it is. I like calling it colon with end parentheses, though. That's not what that means. And then it's signed Casey. So, the letters from Casey, I guess, are supposed to just give filler background story on Beatrix and both how and what, well, not really how, but why she left for the far, far range, and just to give you a feel for the character that, well, you control. So this is... Okay, I forget what this area's name. Just let me run back real quick and check. Briar, I think, but I don't believe so. The Overgrowth. One of these days I shall remember the names of things. And that'll be the day after the apocalypse happens. So I don't have much in the way of overgrowth. The area that it's basically tied to, the green something. Yeah, this area. I think it says it over here. Yeah, the moss blanket. So this area is basically tied to the moss blanket, much the way that the grotto is tied to the quarry, two environments that I have access to that I can explore and get new slimes from. When did I get a flashlight? Should pay more attention. But basically, overgrowth is a newer area that I unlocked last episode. Same with the moss blanket, and in the moss blanket are these guys. These are honey slimes, and they eat fruit. I haven't turned them into largos yet because the slime that I want to pair them with I haven't found yet. And as you can see, there's only 3 honey slimes here, and I like having 5 largos in a pen. So once I'm done exploring the entirety of the ranch, at least what I have access to, my plan is to go to the moss blanket and go hunting for more. Another reason to go exploring the moss blanket is if we check the Slimepedia, we see that the honey slime's favorite food is the mint mango. And for anyone who can see through the overgrowth, well, there's pretty much anybody watching this video, I don't have any mint mango growing. And I don't have any mint mango growing in any other section of the ranch. So another reason to go, in addition to picking up more honey slimes and possibly finding the slime I want to turn it into a largo with, I also need their food of mint mangoes. Now, they do eat fruit, and Q berries do or pogo fruit, I should say, can have issues sometimes telling them apart. Do grow naturally in the overgrowth, so I can always feed them the pogo fruit. Chickens also naturally, well, hens naturally spawn in here as well, but they don't eat meat. So we go past the overgrowth, we come to the docks. Now, there isn't an actual boat we can use, but it is an extra area down at the bottom of the ranch that has a couple unique features, mostly a natural pond, which I can get an endless supply of water from. I can also keep puddle slimes there without having need to build an external pond and making certain it's kept full with water. There is also an area off the back end of the grotto, I believe. I don't remember what it is or what it's called, and the only reason why I didn't bring it up when I was in the grotto beforehand was because I completely forgot about it. I think there's one back here. I know there is a cave here. Yes, at least a teleporter. Okay, so there's no area off the back of the grotto. It just leads to somewhere else. Yeah, I don't feel like exploring that right now, so we're going to head back in. Now, there is one other area that is part of the ranch that I don't have access to yet, and that's the Slime Science Lab. No, just simply known as the lab, where it allows you to begin your career as an amateur unlicensed slime scientist. It's one of the most expensive additions you can have on the ranch, and allows you to basically research extra little knickknacks and other toys for the slimes and other equipment, well, single-use equipment that you can use. So there's that. That's basically the entirety of the ranch. And I spent literally all day just walking around showing, well, you, the viewer, whoever you might be, what the ranch is. So I guess we're going to go exploring the moss blanket in the night. And because I don't feel like walking, well, sleeping yet again, and then walking all the way to there. However, I did manage, I think I just walked over a hen, but you know what, they're fine. They live on a planet where they are literally next to the bottom on the food chain, which, given the fact that the chickens is pretty much accurate, well, in terms of Earth chickens, but I did unlock this teleporter, which drops me off right here. Now, I just realized walking to this area is probably a very bad idea to be doing this at night, because these largos haven't had anything to eat, which means they get rather angry. And when they're angry, they wish to eat, feral slimes. They wish to basically attack anybody and possibly eat anybody. Anybody including ranchers. Also, tars naturally spawn during the night. And a tar is basically the only natural predator to a slime. And they form, well, they spawn naturally at night, or they form when they form when a largo eats a plort not of its own kind. So, as I said before, you feed a plort to a you feed a slime a plort that isn't its own type, like what I just did with that tabby, and it becomes a largo. Basically, it's now a largo tabby's. Well, it's now a boom tabby largo. I really should read the upper corner. If I feed it a third type of plort, like this pink one right here, that becomes a tar, which means it's now a danger to myself and all the slimes in the general area, because they will eat other slimes and then basically spawn themselves, and then literally attack you. The only defense you have against them is water. So, always want to make certain that you unlock the water tank as soon as possible, and you keep it filled as much as possible. Other than that, you just basically wander around, and it's mostly peaceful, as long as you don't come across largos that are hungry, and yeah, don't accidentally walk up a cliff. So, I know I showed this earlier, but these little messages are left to you by the former owner of your ranch. You basically inherited a ranch from somebody by the name of Hendrix, or Heinrix, I believe. His full name is listed as the very first message you can find out in the dry reef. This area, just outside the ranch. I think it's called either the coral reef or the dry reef. I don't remember off the top of my head right now, but he leaves little messages, which are basically missives about his own internal monologues, or just basic examples, well, basic descriptions, I should say, of the environment that you're in. So, the moss blanket may seem like an ancient jungle of sorts, but the fact is that much of what you see here wasn't even around when I first began exploring this land. At this rate, I reckon it won't be long before this greenery completely overtakes the far range. So that basically explains that the moss blanket, which we're now running around in, wasn't here originally, and it's apparently expanding at I'm sorry, little briar hen. I meant to do that. As I was saying, it's expanding at an excessive rate, and he thinks eventually it'll take over. I should also point out, you don't, at least as far as I know, I haven't yet, and to be fair, I haven't finished the game, but have yet to actually meet Hendrix, or Heinrichs, the person I just was talking about. So, I don't know where he is, I don't know why he left. He didn't leave the corporate overlords a note as to why he left. He's just up and gone, and they gave his ranch to you. I believe he made it sound like he doesn't plan on coming back to the ranch, so that's probably part of the reason why they decided to up and leave. Oh look, mini slimes. Use on the slimes. Don't really need phosphorus slimes. That's a Poke. That was a tar, I think. Also, your main tool in slime ranching is the vac pack, which is a little gun thingy that I've been using. So, basically, right trigger to inhale, left trigger to fire. you have various canisters that you can store things in. So 1 through 4 is basically whatever you feel like picking up, and then the 5th one's water. While you can increase the capacity of each of the tanks, you can't actually increase the number of tanks, at least as far as I know. So here's another message from Heinrich, the guy you replaced. Have you ever been in love, Beatrix? Makes you feel all achy inside, like a day after your soul's been to the gym. That's the best way I can describe it anyway. It also realigns your thinking to something you swear is downright alien. All those things you thought really mattered suddenly don't. It changes you entirely. Can't recommend it enough. So, as I said, some of these will be about information about the location you're in. Others will be his own internal musings and monologues. This is one of them. Heinrichs is apparently quite elderly, and he apparently was in love. I don't know if he married his love and they came to the far ranch together, or he left her, or she chose to stay behind on Earth. But from how I take it, she's no longer among the living, as in she passed away, I would assume, of natural causes. So I should probably take the briar chicks as well. I don't really need honey quartz. Alright, so you're just a chickadee, not a briar chick. Oh, that's another chickadee. Alright. Top off the tank and start exploding things. It's mostly just boom largos. The slime that I'm still looking for is rather hard to spot, mainly because he can turn invisible. So, I mean, if I can just get a plort, I'd be I'd be happy. Yeah, the one I'm looking for is known as a hunter slime, and he is somewhat raccoon-looking. But as I said, he can turn invisible, so he's sometimes hard to spot. I think it was mentioned by the person you replaced that they enjoy the mushroom area, but I have a very poor sense of direction, so I just basically wander around everywhere, and eventually, possibly, hopefully, maybe, kinda, sorta-ish, but probably not, we'll eventually get to an area that I'm looking for, or at least an area that I haven't been to yet. That or just keep wandering around and around and around and around in circles until, well, I find something or not something. Probably closer to not something, but, you know, we can't all be badass explorers. Okay, missed one. Took a bite out of me. Health naturally heals over time, but it's this way. Have I gone this way before? Probably. It's daylight, so the hostile largo. No, it's not daylight yet. I suppose the hostile largos in that area didn't spawn. Alright, so what does our predecessor have to say? So the no, this is the same one that I read before. I'm actually in the same area again. In the first area. This is what I mean when I say that I just wander around in circles. Oh, more briar hens. Never have too many chickens. Well, I mean, yeah, you can have too many chickens, but for now, I can never have too many chickens, especially in count of the fact that briar hens, I don't think I have quite a few many of. I think I do have a decent selection enough of hens, and I think even stony hens, the chicken equivalent of the quarry. Well, the indigo core, I should say. That's its full name. I remember the name of the indigo core, but I can't remember the name of the moss blanket. To be fair, I've been running around in the quarry for longer than I have the moss blanket, so that may be why. And I've just been going around this cliff at the exact same time for 3 times now. So we're going to go here and then hang a right. And then we see more tars. And we blow up more tars. I thought they explode into confetti. I say that after they explode and all the confetti goes away. I think I went here. Really should have waited for the energy to recharge before doing that. As I say, no risk and no reward, but I should point out I am not much of a risk taker. Taker, not tanker. Taker. In terms of finance and economics, I'm extremely risk adverse. Yeah, I've been here too. That was the other one I just read. But these are the mushrooms, so I'm assuming hunter slimes are hanging out in this area. If I remember that correctly, and there's no guarantee that I did. Why does that tabby have a carrot? Cats are naturally curious. Maybe it just wants to play with a carrot. Oh, so this little slime over here is a puddle slime? Unlike other slimes, it doesn't actually eat food, but it just basically sits in a pool of water and produces puddle plorts, the little blue ones right here, and it just sits there and produces plorts, just naturally, I guess, through the consumption of its surrounding water. I don't have a pond built yet, so I don't have any puddle slimes on my ranch just yet. That's part of the reason why I'm so interested in the docks. It has a natural pond I can just dump them in. I also apparently incredibly shy and don't like being in large numbers in the same ponds, but I think 2 or 3 of them is fine. I do like how you just can be in the water without actually drowning. Of course, now I'm not entirely certain I can actually get out. Oh no, I can't. There we go. There's the confetti. Anybody else? No, okay then. So where exactly am I? I am here. Oh look, little birdie things. Okay, so maybe not every animal is a slime. I say that as, you know, I have 3 of my 4 usable tanks filled with chickens. I'm assuming this is how you get to this place naturally. Or at least how you're supposed to get to this place. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Okay. So this is that area, and this is the area that I've been. I should probably try to figure out how to get here or even back here. Maybe the hunters or at least the mint mangoes will be back here. Oh, that's very annoying. See this boom largo right here? Yeah, it's a boom hunter largo. This is the type of creature, this is the type of slime I was looking for. I had my back turned the entire time, and either there's a hunter slime around here that is still around, or yeah, this hunter probably ate a boom plort, so it became a hunter largo. But so, as I said, there's 2 ways to get largos. One is to get the actual slime, the other is to get the plort. So, while I don't technically need the slime itself, I now have grabbed its plorts, so I can just basically head back to the ranch, dump these 2 plorts in the same pen as I keep the honey slimes, and 2 of the honey slimes will eat the plorts, turn into... Okay, that was interesting. Honey hunter largos, and I just feed those largos stuff to produce more hunter plorts, and then the others should eat those plorts and turn into the same ones. So, even though I didn't technically find the actual slime in time to acquire it for my own ranch purposes, I have the next best thing. And I have 2 extra honey slimes to add to, well, my collection, basically. Although, does that mean that the hunter slimes are now... No, hunter slimes are not actually in the Slimepedia yet. So I do need to actually find a hunter slime if I want its information. Alright, so they're probably not going to spawn, well, anytime soon. I'll have to come back to this area again if I remember, and if not, then, well, I don't. I want to head this way, I think. Now, part of me thinks the mangoes might be kept in this area, or at least it might get access to something different and/or new. But it's probably a bad idea to try to jump there directly. I mean, I might be able to make that if I don't clip something. But it's easier just to simply go around, so that's probably what I'm going to do. If, you know, I can jump in a straight line. Alright, so that's the log I went through earlier. I should have headed off in this direction instead of just doubling back. So that's just a bar hen. More bar hens. Grabbing all the bar hens that I can. Alright, so that's a mint mango right there. And now I've grabbed a mint mango. I know I gave up the briar chick for it, but you know, I do have 13 briar hens, and while roosters are harder to come by, and the briar chicks can either turn into briar hens or roosters, I believe, I'd rather have the mint mango. So we've come this far, and looks like we can go no farther. Well, we probably could. I don't think I went into this area yet. Which looks to be given access through this bridge thing. But my inventory is full with everything that I wanted, plus 13 briar hens. So we're just gonna warp here, and it jumps us back to here, which is an area that on the ranch. Now it's a one-way teleporter pad, so I can't take that back. But at least I don't have to walk all the way back through the moss blanket to get to here anyway. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the honey slimes and dump them back into, well, not dump them back into the pen, dump them into the pen. And I actually have one extra honey slime than I expected, so I'm just going to grab you. And fire you off into the slime sea. I didn't kill the slime when I threw him into the slime sea. It's, according to the lore, it's just basically one massive slime, and it's believed that the slime sea is where all slimes come from, and where they will all eventually return. Yes, but no. No, that does not mean that I killed it. I don't think it means that I killed it. They don't complain, and they seem happy, and I sometimes half expect to be staring at the sea and see just a smiley face go by, like on all the other slimes. But as far as I know, that doesn't happen. So, in addition to that, I also dump in the 2 hunter ports. And now we have hunter slimes, and well, honey hunter largos. And as you can see, they're rather miffed on account of they haven't been eating anything, and they also cloak. I'm not quite certain. Yeah, one of them just escaped the pen. Go eat that. I should point out, largos can't actually fit into the firing off briar ends. I think I got all the spare briar hens that I don't have. But, somebody eat that, thank you. Chickens in the pen, eat one of those. There you go. Okay, I think there's one missing now. Go eat that hen. Now there's possibly 2 out of the pen. I'm only seeing 4 in here, which means one of them got loose. And since they can cloak, it's probably going to be harder to find. Unless I miscounted, I only had 5 to begin with, so I just basically sacrificed a honey slime that I didn't need to. And seeing 3 sets of eyes and 1 extra honey hunter logo. No, there he is. Get back here. Stay in the pen. Stay in the pen. Dump the remaining briar hens into the chicken coop. What I should probably do is feed... not feed, make a second coop for the briar hens, because this area is probably getting rather filled. Of course, I should also make another pen for the stony hens as well, but I only have, what, 4 roost rows? And unlike, well, I don't know how slime reproduce. They come from the slime seeds, as far as I know. But chickens, in order to reproduce, need to be close to a roost row. And the chickens and roost rows do eventually age, so. But I should plant the mint mango as well. However, I don't have a farm plot unused, and which means I'm going to have to build a new one. Which means that I'm going to have to sell some plorts, because I only have 30 coin to my name, and that's not enough to get a farm or garden plot as it's known. So when you sell plorts, you have to come to the plort market, which is here. Any highlighted plort that you see is a plort I have access to. So I have access to pink, stone, phosphorus, tabby, rad, honey, boom, water-ish, sort of. I've sold some, and I can actually go back and get some. Crystal, hunter, and technically gold. There is no gold slime. Well, I think there is a gold slime. You just can't ranch them. They pop up randomly. You can just feed them occasionally, and they'll occasionally produce a gold plort. Also, little triangles you see, up and down triangles you see next to the price, are the market prices. Yes, the plort market is affected by supply and demand. So the more plorts you sell of a specific kind, the greater the price will drop the next day. So, for instance, currently, well, I don't have much in the way of hunter plorts, but currently, outside of the hunter plorts, the next best plort is going to be honey, actually, at 57, followed by crystal at 47, and then water at 51, but I don't have puddle slimes yet, so don't have ready access to puddle plorts. So I should sell the hunter, crystal, and honey plorts, as well as probably phosphorus, and they change at midnight every day, so I have now less than 2 game hours to, if I want the price listed there, I have less than 2 game hours to actually gather the plorts that I need. And I do like making certain that all the plorts in these bins are equal. So what I'm going to do is, because I can hold a total of 30 of any one thing in the tank, I'm going to take 30 crystal plorts and 30 phosphor plorts. Out of there. And I just got the hunter largos set up, so the honey hunter largos set up, so I don't really have much in the way of their plorts readily accessible. Although I should have some spare honey plorts. Let me just check the amount that I have. But you know what? Before I do that, let me actually drop these off so I can just bank the coin. So I just sold 30 crystal plorts for 47 coin apiece, and 30 phosphor plorts for 25 coin apiece. And if we wait less than 10 more seconds, it's now midnight of day 15, which means that the price has changed. So if we wait a second, so as we can see, the price for the crystal plorts dropped from 47 to 40. The price for the phosphor plorts dropped from 25, I believe it was, to 14. This is all due to the fact that I sold those kinds of plorts, or the other ranchers, because there are other ranchers here, even if you don't directly see them, sold other plorts. So I would assume that's kind of why the honey plorts went down, even though I didn't sell any honey plorts. Same with the water and the hunter plorts. But I now have 2,190 coin to my name. That should be enough to at least get the basic garden plot built, which I shall put here. Yeah, and every type of plot that you build has various upgrades that you can purchase. So I can also go with nutrient soil, which contains compost from the moss blanket and minerals from the indigo quarry, makes crops always yield maximum harvest. A sprinkler, which ensures that your crops are always watered, make them grow twice as fast. And a scare slime, which is basically a scarecrow just made to look like a tar. It's a stuffed tar model designed to keep wandering slimes away from your crops. Simple but terrifying. And the final one is just to demolish the plot if I don't want it anymore. So this is now a fully upgraded garden plot, and how I grow things is, you see this little thing right here, this little slime mouthy thing? Yes, I know you see it, but do you see it? Basically, I fire whatever I want to grow into that thing. And then, since it's a fruit that grows on a tree, the tree instantly sprouts. And within about a day's time, I'll have mint mangoes growing to feed these guys. So that way I can get the favorite food of the honeys growing, so I can get twice as much honey and hunter points. And I also have some spare cash, so what I'm going to do is build the air net, so less chance of them trying to escape. I mean, they're going to try to escape regardless, but less chance of them actually succeeding. And as I said before, I like to keep making certain ports even, so I'm going to take all the honey and hunter ports out that are in there. Oh look, random briar hen that I forgot about. And I'll put a scare slime here, just so that way this area is now fully upgraded. And you saw right here, if I have an active crop growing, can remove the crop for 10 coin and just plant something else. Now, the crops don't stay here indefinitely. I only get a certain number of, growth cycles out of it. I don't actually remember how many I actually get, but it is finite. So once I run out, I then have to replant more of the same crop, or I just plant something else. You know, either or could depends upon my needs, what I want to do. So we'll feed this into the auto feeder. Should be good there. Oh, and the port holders are full here. So I'm probably going to need to get extra space. It would be nice if the food dispenser could actually hold multiples of each kind, multiple kinds of food as opposed to just one. How many oka do I have? I don't know. Is it more than the Q berries? Definitely more than the Q berries, and I also have plenty more carrots than I can actually fit. Alright, so we're still going to dump odd onions into here. You know what, I'm also going to start growing the Q berries into this area, so we'll have this one become a garden as well. And we'll put a Q-berry tree here. As you can see, it fully grows instantaneously regardless of whether or not I have any upgrades attached to it. I can't really afford the sprinklers right now, but they'll be easy fix shortly. And I did also put down the nutrient soil. So let me empty the bin of the briar hen. Put that right there. I'll feed the Q berries and the carrots because they're extra to the pinks, and I don't really make the pinks into any kind of largo, just simply because I don't really have anything I want to pair it with. But it's also the reason why I keep like 20 pink slimes and only 5 of any other kind. The collectors are actually getting filled. So no, these are filled too. Okay. Let me empty out the port containers. That way the pen's cleaner. Ish, kind of, sort of. Go. Just drop these off at the port market, and I didn't upgrade this one fully yet. Now the demand for the rad, the port, the tabby, and the rock ports aren't the rad, the boom, the tabby, and the rock ports aren't as high, so I'm not making as much as I did off of, say, the hunter and the honey ports. But like all things, it's as much the quantity that you have as well as, yeah, see, this thing's already full. That's how many ports they have lying around. I got so many pink ports, I could probably empty the entire bin and see if it refills completely. It is going to tank the price for tomorrow, but they're generally low anyway, so. I mean, pink, tabby, and rock slimes are 3 slimes that you see earliest. So they're also some of the more prevalent ones, and that means that demand is higher for their ports as opposed to others. So that means well, not demand, supply for those ports is higher than the others, so there's actually less, price is lower. Basics of economics. If you have 2 opposing forces, supply and demand, and it's been a while since I saw this. Give me a second to gather my thoughts. So economics is basically the interplay of, I'm sure economics people, if they actually see this, will throw a fit that I'm interpreting this incorrectly. But it's basically interplay between 2 forces, supply and demand. Demand is how much you want of something, supply is how much there is to satisfy that demand. And the price of a thing is determined by the equilibrium of price and demand. So the higher the price is, there's less demand for it. Fewer people that actually want the thing. Whereas the higher the price goes, the more people are willing to supply it. And when you have demand exceed supply at a price, you have a shortage, which basically means more people want the thing than there is a thing to sell. Whereas if supply is higher than demand, you have a surplus, which basically means that there's few people wanting what is available. And the price of a thing is generally considered to be the equilibrium where demand of a thing equals the supply of a thing. So if you were to say sell these heartbeats or so for, let's say, 10 coin, and you were willing to supply 30 heartbeats for 10 coins apiece, but there's only 20 people who want to buy them, you're not going to sell all of your heartbeats. So if you want to sell your heartbeats, you're going to have to decrease the price until you find 30 people willing to buy the heartbeats. Whereas conversely, if you're selling pogo fruit for, say, 5 coin apiece, and you can only sell 30 of them, but say 40 people want them, then you can increase the price until 10 people decide that it's too expensive for their liking and they don't buy. And that's the basics of how economics works. It gets more complicated than that relatively fast, but you know, it's like addition and subtraction compared to multiplication and division. It's basically, yeah, no, it's called the dry reef, I'm sorry. But it's just basically more complex variants of the simple ideals. So. Okay, so I didn't even get close to his name. H's real name is Hobson Schwillikers. It isn't even close to Heinrich or Henrik or Edrich. It's Hobson. They either changed that last time I played, or I am not paying attention. I'm leaning closer to not paying attention. Alright, so now that I have 4,000 in the bank, let me finish building this garden plot. By building, I mean purchasing the remaining 2 upgrades. There we go. This one's fully upgraded too, right? Yeah. So now I don't have to go wandering about the ranch to supply the phosphor crystal larvas with everything that they need. Now the only thing I'm missing on this corral is the solar shield. I could buy it, which would be necessary for any place not the grotto. So the solar shield is only needed for phosphor slimes, which in case it creates a solar shield which encases a corral in a dim shade, protecting slimes sensitive to light. And as far as I know, the only slime sensitive to light is the phosphorus slime. So if I were keeping, say, phosphorus slimes or even phosphor whatever largos out in the main ranch or in the overgrowth, I would need the solar shield, otherwise once day hit, they die. Also the air net, so that way they don't fly off, but that's not an issue for right now. But because we're in the grotto, which is an enclosed area, it doesn't get light enough. Well, the light doesn't rise to the point where the phosphorus slimes die from it, so it's not needed. And since, again, as far as I know, the phosphorus slime is the only slime that needs the, I actually don't have an auto feeder. I think I thought about building one earlier, but never got around to it. Maybe because I keep forgetting, but I digress. But since they're the only ones that require the solar shield, I don't need it on any other pen. Just double checking to make certain I have all the other pens built up as much as I can. And put the music box here. Should also check the garden plots to make certain they're fully upgraded as well. And the chicken coop. As well as probably build more chicken coops. Probably put one in here. I mean, chickens do naturally spawn in here, so... Oh no, where are the largos? Did they escape? They're in there. At least I think they're in there. I'm getting hungry, though. The music box plays a soothing tune that greatly reduces slime agitation. So the largos, as they get hungry, they get, well, they make this little face, and if they are still hungry after a while, regular slime should stay in that mode, whereas largos will actually get angry and start attacking you. So you need to start feeding them. And luckily, I actually have an entire crop of mint mangoes ready to be eaten. So we'll just put them in here. And eventually the auto feeder should spit them out so that way they don't get angry. Yeah, just double checking. Okay. Well. Alright, so I don't have nutrient, soil, or sprinkler, or, well, anything for this garden plot. But now I do, but now I'm running low on coin again. And, the coop is fully upgraded. This garden is fully upgraded. This one is not. However, as you just saw me do, and I'm not quite certain I'm running back to the road to see why, but I also have cube berries growing in here, so I don't need cube berries growing out here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to demolish this plot and build something else. So I have a variety of options. I could build a corral, which a happy slime makes for a happy rancher. This is where we keep the slimes. A garden, which nothing beats the taste of food grown in your own backyard, which allows them to grow fruit and vegetables. A coop, which keeps chickens in their place to prevent uprising, which I didn't know they could uprise, but that makes sense. I could also build an incinerator. Don't need it, burn it, but I don't really need to burn things right here. A pond, which, what are you going to do with this? Which I can fill with water and then put puddle slimes in. But I don't have ready access to an infinite source of water right now. So I'm not planning on putting a pond in just yet. The final option is a silo. You can't take it with you when you go, so put it in storage. So my plan is to put silos here and probably a couple other areas. So when the port bins max out, like they were earlier, I can start storing extra ports in the silos, so that way they don't dirty the pens. Just fill the pens with, well, everything. And I'll have a place to store even more ports, so when the markets are more favorable in towards me, the supplier, I can send out more, I can ship more ports and make even more money. But I'm going to need coin to build the silo. So it looks like the next highest are again honey, which I don't believe I have much of right now. Hunter, which I don't believe I have much of right now. Crystal and, well, puddle, which I don't have puddle ports. Wrong button. Anyway. So, back to the grotto. Alright, so now I have some cash available. So I can now build the silo. That there. So I now have access to the silo, which can store, I believe, one thing, and I can further upgrade it to extra storages. So I can have up to 4 storage units, which hold, I believe, up to 4 things. I'm not quite certain why it's listed at 3 listings there. Oh, maybe they changed it so that way each one stores 3 different things. Because back when I played this before making videos, I had basically this entire starting ranch area just filled with silos, and all these side areas were made with I guess that changes what I want pulled out. But as I was saying, I had silos all over the place because a fully upgraded silo will only hold 4 different things. Apparently they also don't go in as well. So where'd that third one go? There we go. I just have to manually change the bin that they're going into. And it looks like that they actually hold a decent amount. So I may not need a whole pile of silos anymore. So if a fully upgraded so if each panel can store up to 3 different things, I get 4 panels worth. Each silo should hold 12 unique items. And since I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different kinds of plorts available to me, I could technically just shove every plort into this silo that I have access to right now and not need extra space. It also looks like that they store a large amount because the box fills up with the color as it maxes out, and if 30 is that little, then it must hold quite a few plorts in each bin. And also, you can store more than just plorts in the bin. So if, say, I needed, or at least wanted, extra... Well, say for instance, you know, the heartbeat bin is filled, and it's close to being filled, it might as well be filled. But heartbeats are still growing, and crops don't just simply sit there forever. If you don't deal with them and or just leave them out or slimes don't eat them, they eventually rot and dissipate and disappear. So one thing that you can do is store them in the silo. So in addition to the plorts, I can also store food, as well as, I think, basically anything I can store multiple of. I don't know if I can store slimes into the silo. I don't think I actually can. Yeah, you can't store slimes in the silo. It makes no sense. That's what the pens are for. But in addition to things that you can build on the farm and upgrade things on the farm, there's also this upgrade station, which handles your personal upgrades. So things like the ability to run or the ability to fly, or jetpack, they all had to be purchased here, and I still actually have, as well as the extra water tank. So I still actually have extra upgrades I can purchase. So like I can purchase the air drive, which enhances the jetpack thrusters, consume 20% less energy, but produces double the fun. That's just flavor text. Basically, it uses 20 energy 20% less, so it lasts 20% longer. Also, dash boots. These highly advanced and frankly fashion-forward boots reduce the energy consumption of sprinting. Also, the pulse ray, which has a pulse wave emitter feature to your backpack that pushes away slimes whenever you need personal space. Didn't know that was an option. And then basically the heart, power, and tank booster modules, which increase your health, increase your power, which is the blue bar, red being health. And then the tank booster, which increases the amount of stuff you can store in the vac tanks. So it jumps it from 30 to 40. Also, as I mentioned before, there are other ranchers on the far range, but you never really see. The only real point of contact is this thing, where they basically send you requests or demand that you supply them with things. So I actually have 2 people, Ogden Ortiz and Thora West, calling me. They introduced themselves in prior episodes and through the star mail, so if I forget who they are, I can just look up their mail and get a basic description. But each one, they basically give you various little quests you do, and each one wants different things. So like Ogden Ortiz says that he's in a real pickle here, and he wants 8 carrots and 5 mint mangoes. And I currently have 14 minutes, because it is all timed, to complete that. And in exchange, he'll give me 3 rad plorts, 6 stony hens, 2 briar hens, and 1,000 coin. I don't know if I have the mint mangoes. Let me check. Also don't know if I'm going to be able to run all the way over to where the mint mangoes are kept, pull 5 out, pull out 8 carrots, and get them back to him in time to actually get the plorts. So that's the 5 mint mangoes. Fortunately, there are carrots right here. Some carrots right here. Nope, that's a mint mango. Oh, I'll feed the spare carrots to the slime. And I got time to spare, so I basically shoot everything that I need into here, and the quantity goes up as I fulfill the order, and once the last bit of the order is in, my rewards pop out, so instantly get all the hens and the spare rad ports. Also, I get new star mail from Ogden. Don't really need rad ports, so I'll just sell those for some spare cash. Dump all the chickens into the ever-filling coop. And let's go see what Ogden says in reply. So, partnership, Ogden Ortiz. You seem to be making a name for yourself, and I like your style, so let me cut right to the chase. I'd like to offer you a job doing a little side work for me. I got a chunk of land on the outskirts of my property that has access to a place called the Wilds. Land of primitive, feral slimes and dangerous as all get out. Also home to a delicious rare fruit that I love. If you're up to a challenge, come on down to a little retreat of mine near the Wilds and learn more. I found a derelict teleporter on your network that'll activate on your ranch. Take you right to it. Hope to see you there. Okay, so this is new. Apparently, in exchange for completing his quest, visit Ogden's retreat. Ogden Ortiz has offered you a job working as retreat. Enter the teleporter near the overgrowth to learn more. Oh, so that must be what this thing is. Wondered what it was for. So apparently you can actually meet them, and it's actually 1 a.m. So this is Ogden's ranch, or, well, it would be if he didn't put up a force field, so I can't actually get into it. Probably should not actually talk with him at 1 a.m. So let's head back, turn night into day, and then go see what he wants. Might be something interesting and new. So, is Ogden home? Can't enter his house, so I have absolutely no idea. But I'm assuming he wants me to go this way. Or not. Okay, so I'm here. What the heck? I'm here. What does he want? Where am I? Not even the map knows. That's interesting. What is all this stuff? Oh, so I contact him through here. So, hi Beatrix, thanks for coming down to my retreat and hear me out on my offer. So let's get right down to business. I built this place years ago as a little vacation spot for myself. Later on, I realized that its neighbors a cluster of islands filled with primitive saber slimes. I call these islands the Wilds, and after exploring them, they revealed their true secret, the rare cocadoba fruit. What's a cocadoba? Well, it's only the most delectable, irresistible fruit in the known universe. Well, most people say it tastes like rotted cheese, but they're wrong. Yeah, most people say that about most fruit. Anyway, I soon became obsessed with cocadobas, probably because they have some sort of addictive chemical. That's not in the actual text, I just added that because it makes the most sense with this place. But I found myself quickly becoming too old and too slow to deal with the risk. See, the wilds are home to hordes of feral slimes, descendants of ancient saber slimes that once hunted these islands, or these lands. Collecting cocadobas is dangerous. That's where you come in. I'll happily reward you for collecting the sweet, sweet cocadobas for me. Just deposit them in this custom range exchange and we're in business. Collect enough of them for me, I'll start by giving you my secret miracle mix for your gardens. I'll also reward you with a block of my special spicy tofu for every cocadobas. I've activated the teleporter to the wilds here at the retreat, and now it's yours to explore as you see fit. Just know that the warp network there is a little buggy. You won't always arrive at the same place, and you have to find a working teleporter to make your way back. It's buggy, I know, just be prepared. So this is a new thing. Slimepedia, survival in the wilds. The wilds can be a dangerous place to check your Slimepedia if you need a handy guide. So it looks like if what Ogden wants me to do is I go to the wilds down over that way, collect 3 Cocodobras. For every 3 Cocodobras I collect for him, he'll give me 1 block of tofu. And once I hit 75 Cocodobras, he'll give me an upgrade to the gardens. I wonder if eventually this area unlocks, I can use it as like an extended ranch. Of course, now that makes me wonder what the other person wanted. Of course, the range exchange is offline right now because, much like the port market, it changes regularly. So that was something new and unexpected I wasn't planning on. Last time I played this, the whole wilds thing and Ogden's retreat wasn't available. They were just basically people I talked to through the mail and favors for through the exchange. So I could go running through the wilds, but it's getting late. Yes, I know it's 8 a.m., but we're not going by in-game time. And as such, I'm going to call it here. Everybody stay safe from the plague and have a good day.